Welcome back to our first proper version 4 game, and by that I mean using version 4 designed lists and version 4 points values, and also the theatre as well, which as you can see is a desert. Just a quick word on the terrain. I've made the terrain myself with the hills and the bases for the woods and the palm groves and the broken ground and so on. You can see it's made out of typical sort of high density foam, but I didn't enjoy making it, I have to admit that. I'd rather be painting tanks, so this is probably going to be the extent of my terrain, but it should be fine. Talking about the terrain, most of the high ground is passable. Where the sides are painted grey, for instance, it's impassable. So like this bit here is basically a big massive lump of impassable terrain, but there is a pathway to get through it. These over here are going to be broken ground. I think desert scrub is the official term. This will count as a wood in the classic sense. And then we've got the buildings with, some of them have got high walls, and they'll be high terrain because they're as tall as the houses. And then there's some low walls, which will just be low terrain. See, there's another house back there. But otherwise, plenty of open spaces. There's not going to be too many bogging checks in this unless you actually go into something. It's not like there's hedges or such like. So it could be quite a mobile, open kind of battle. So let's have a look at the American list first. Brian, what have you got?
Yeah, so again, I'm using the American. Those that know or follow these games know I play American a lot, so I'm trying Americans in mid-war version to see how they were when they first came into the war. I'm putting up my British list, but it's not ready yet, so I wanted to have a painted list, so we're going to go for the Americans. So I'm using the Fighting First book, and I've got, basically, I've pulled together, just to see how everything works, a Sherman company and an armoured rifle company. So in the Sherman company, I've got the single HQ and two Sherman platoons, each of 3 tanks, and then they're supported by another platoon of 4 Stuarts, very fast machine guns against infantry. So that's the one half of the list. And then the second half is the Armoured Rifle Company. See how this fares in mid-war as well. So it's got the HQ for starters and 2 rifle companies. I've got 1 full strength and 1 partial strength just because of the points I've got available. Again, in this version though, they've got all the bazookas, which, you know, we'll see how they perform in mid-war. Supported by anti-tank. Now I never took the half-track option just to keep the points down, so I've got 3 anti-tank guns and 3 mortars, and I've just, because I've a spare 1 point left, put in the Stuart OP. So 2 companies.
That's 100 points in total.
100 points in total, bang 100 points. So we'll see how they go, because they've got a mixture of skills, they've got a mixture of motivation, they've got a mixture of aggressive. You know, I think they're going to be hit pretty easy. I don't think they've learnt yet to get their heads down when they're moving forward. But I think this is where the cards are going to come in really useful, because you can actually track individual platoons a lot easier with the cards, just to double check what tests you've got to do with them all.
These guys here are kind of a mixture between confident trained and confident conscripts, you know, a skill rating of a 5+, for instance. So the cards are really good for that. I think it allows Battlefront to get some fairly tailored units, you know.
So we'll see how the Americans fare at the start of their introduction to World War II.
So the Germans 100 points again, and what we've got here is an infantry company with support. So it's just a one formation. So I've got 2 platoons of infantry which have the optional heavy machine gun, but I don't have the optional mortar, because there are 2 points for a mortar. I'm thinking I'm not going to pay 2 points. The German formations are always a bit smaller. I took those 2 points that I could have spent on mortars and I spent them on armour cars. So there's 6 armour cars here. 2 of them are the command ones that are upgraded with the, I'm not even going to try to say it, the Panzer Bush or whatever the hell it is, anti-tank weapon that the infantry use. And for tank support I have got 3 75mm armed Panzer 3s and then 3 Panzer 4s. One of them's got a short 75, two's got long 75s. Apart from that, I mean, they're actually just about the exact same tank, to be honest. They've got slightly different guns. The armour, skill ratings and everything else is the same. And then 3 Pak 38s as an anti-tank platoon, I think that's a compulsory platoon actually for the infantry formation, and then I think what's the go-to for most German players is Marders, because they're anti-tank 12, and so it's a platoon of 4 Marders, so it's a lot more compact an army, but it should be harder to hit. It's got to use its skill ratings to shoot and scoot and things like that to try and take the flak off it. We'll see how that goes, and we'll see how the terrain itself makes that possible. Now, I was talking with Brian before, and my initial thoughts was it's a desert, it's flat, it's open, but I think I have to accept it. Most times where there would be a fight, it would be because somebody was making a stand. So they'll be fighting over some kind of terrain, so I'm more than happy to have lots of terrain on the table. Incidentally, the little stands of palm trees that are just sitting out by themselves are just purely for eye candy. They're not going to play any part in the game. They're just stereo search ones in case I need more woods. So what we're going to do is we're going to play Dust Up. So we can't, both of us can't have everything on the table at the start, and there's a bit of manoeuvrability required and such like. So we're going to return once we're set up and ready to go. So as we said, the mission is going to be Dust Up. So there's the map, so to speak, and in terms of the table, you can see us facing off against each other. Brian's got his defensive area around the buildings where he's put one objective, and in the front corner there I've put another one, and he's holding that at the moment with his infantry HQ, I think it is, and his anti-tank.
Yeah, that's right.
And then over here he placed pretty much the same idea. He's put one objective right down the front for me to stand out in the open, and I've put one here back in these buildings. So I've got a platoon of infantry and some anti-tank guns. That tank guns are kind of very defensively placed, but you know what the heck, if I'm holding that objective with them, that's what anti-tank guns are good for. One platoon stuck right out the front there, going to get bombarded by mortars. I've got armour car platoon here. The other one used its spearhead rule to move over here. It's probably the only way you really practically use the spearhead rule in most missions is to jump to the side of it, and which has allowed me to get my Marders further over. One of them isn't sitting on the hill, it's kind of in here, it's just it's going to slip off and start chipping everything. And then in reserve are my Panzer 4s and my Panzer 3s, and they come along anywhere on this table edge. So Brian, what have you got on the table just to sum up again?
So basically I put the full armoured rifle company on, so I've got the HQ, and I've got the smaller platoon out the half tracks, although keeping the half tracks on because they're now armoured, can stay on the table, protecting the small village and this objective. The second larger one is within the half tracks because the idea is to try and get them around here into cover ready for an attack when we're ready. I've then deployed my anti-tank guns to protect the objective, and then up in the hill I've got the mortars, and the idea being that I can then separate out the observer just to give me a fuller wide of view across the table. And I've brought forward one unit of 3 Shermans at the moment, just sitting out the way in case I don't get first turn. Don't want them taken out too early. So in reserve I have got the Sherman HQ, platoon 2 of the Shermans, which is 3 Shermans, and 4 Stuarts. So again, 3 groups of tanks to come on the table when we're ready. And then again I'm going to come on anywhere on this back table edge.
Yeah, they belong there.
So probably all here without my luck.
Starting the game, both players roll a dice, and the highest scoring player takes the first turn. This is a meeting engagement, so there's no pre-arranged artillery bombardments and no artillery. Whoever gets that first turn can't do a bombardment. So let's roll off, see what we get. 6 and a 2, so I'll get first turn.
So that's my luck starting from turn 1.
It's okay, to be honest. I mean, I've nothing that's going to be shooting at you, and it means you can get to your artillery straight into action in your first turn.
Yeah.
So that's, in some ways, it's handy when you are when you've got artillery or planes not to get the first turn, but we'll see. So we'll come back at the end of the first turn, and if there's any important dice rolls during the game as well, we're going to try and capture them because it's quite good to share the pain when the dice are not with you. Germans got first turn. There's no fancy turn counters yet, guys, but there is stuff on the go. I'll get done at some point. Most of the movement was all the vehicles dashing over here, so I've got a threat on to that objective, sort of. Don't know what I'm going to do against all those infantry and the bazookas. These armour cars just got themselves in a central position. They might be able to do something, they might not. No shooting because I can't actually really do anything. Maybe the Panzerbusch thing, whatever else, PSPZB, whatever it is, could have maybe fired a shot, but I might as well just stay on the ground in case there's any direct fire coming back at me. So nothing really for the Germans apart from movement to turn 1, so over to the Yanks.
Okay, so basically I wanted to try and move this half of the army round to start looking at this objective from turns 3, 4 onwards if I get some infantry up here. So I managed to take a dash to get my half tracks in behind cover.
Would you want to try to follow me with them?
Try and just take that bit extra 4 inches up.
Yeah.
Okay, so the follow me then I use probably because I've got the commander at the back here. So he moves 4 inches.
Now you have to, from where he is, so he's got to do a cross check.
I'll do a cross check.
But yeah, that doesn't really matter too much. Or he can try it anyway, because you might as well.
Yeah, so let me just...
It's going to be no penalty if you fail it.
Yeah, so let me just do a try check.
So that's
5.
fine. So
fine.
you can move on 4.
4 inches.
Just finish it off that terrain.
There.
Finish off it. And then move the guys as much as you can 4 inches around it.
So they can come up around and even go in front of them if required.
Yep. It just gives that wee extra 4 inches of movement, and if your intention is to get round as quick as you can, but you always got to think, guys, where's your commander, you know, like, because he's got to move forward.
Keep him towards the front of any movement, because I had that problem across here. The little observer has moved further around because he's got a higher dash rating.
24 inches.
Okay, just so I've got some eyes across this side of the table as well. In the middle of the table, I tried to range in with my mortars on the infantry out in the open here, but just having a skill rating of 5 meant I had 3 failed rolls, so not very good for American shooting. Seeing a bit of danger around here with some of the big guns coming through, I decided to bring my tanks around. I did do a follow me on the commander here just to get them up at extra 4 inches as well. Want to try and at some point have a shot through the gap here, and just to give some extra cover in here if some of the big guns do come my way. So end of American turn 1.
Okay, so the Marders have blitzed, fired. They need to scoot back off the hill. Let's see if they make it. They don't! So they could be in big trouble next turn. In turn 2, the Marders blitzed up onto the hill, fired down and killed 2 half-tracks, and had a go at the anti-tank guns, because anti-tank guns are out of range off them. They hit one but didn't get a kill, it made it safe. The armour cars have moved, edged around, still out of range of the anti-tank guns. See if they can get in front of the hill. These guys tried a blitz to see if they could get up and they hull down, but they never made it. So a couple of half-tracks have been killed, but the Marders failed their shoot and scoot, as you've probably just seen, so they could be in big trouble because of paper thin armour. So we'll see what the Yanks can do in retaliation. Okay, so I'm just going to take some shots with the Shermans up on the Marders up in the hill. So I tried a blitz move, failed that. So normally it would hit you on 3s. 4s. Failed movement, hit you on 5s. Stabilisers hitting you on 6s. And hull down.
Hitting you on 7s.
Yeah.
So we roll them individually. So the first guy can see the Marder on the end. So these are the 7s. So I need to get 6s first.
That's 1. And then roll that and get a 5.
Get a 5.
That'll do it.
So that's 1 hit.
That'll be straight to 5
there.
power.
The second guy, again hitting you on 7s. So I need to get... Nope.
That is 7, but it doesn't count.
And the guy back can only see the guy at the end as well, which is not much good.
No.
No.
So straight to 5 power on him.
So here we go. No.
Bailed out.
Bailed out. Sherman's hitting paper and bailing them out. It's not very good.
No, to be honest, it was that failed blitz move, I think, that did it. That and the good old Sherman stabilisers.
Yeah, useless stabilisers, even back in mid-war. So let's see what happens here then. American turn 2. So continued my move of the armoured rifle platoon in the half-tracks are going round the cover in behind this hill here at the moment, so keep out line of sight of the guns. I kept the observer here now because I was going to use a HQ commander to range in my mortars. I decided to shoot him as a tank, and I had a shot at his recce platoon and managed to only just bail one of the tanks out there. In the middle here, the guy stayed going to the ground, but I used the HQ to bring in the mortars on top of the Marders. But again, as you can see, there's nothing there, so I failed to range in.
Needed a 6, which is pretty tough. We're finding that American skill rating isn't very good.
No, very, very poor. So I tried across here, as you've seen from the previous snippet. I've tried a blitz move to try and get a tank up to shoot, and failed the blitz move, so then I had to do a tactical move, and because of the movement, because of the stabilisers, because of the field movement, because of hull down, as you can see, I've only managed to bail out one paper thin front armour Marder, so I'm not very clever considering they were stuck up in the hill for me to shoot at, so very poor from the Americans this turn.
3, and I got reinforcements straight away, so I brought on the Panzer IV platoon. The long barrels have moved up in a position to shoot down at the Panzer IVs, and they missed. The short barreled is moved over, so we got the anti-tank guns. It missed, needed a 6, but it's in a position to do bombardments, so I could potentially start putting a bombardment down on them. But more significantly, the Marders. Oh, here's something I forgot to do. They'll try and shoot and scoot, right? And they get a 4, so they'll pull back down off the hill to get out of line of sight. I'll do that in a second. But they fired, and I think this actually got hit by a Panzer IV, the one at the end there, but it's saved. It's always got a chance. 6 at long range, going to a 7 against anti-tank 10. You know, the Shermans are quite good, but not against anti-tank 12 at short range and concealed. 1's bailed, they got double bailed, and the other 2 are destroyed. So that'll be a motivation. The armoured cars are edging up to get in a position to try and soften up those half tracks when they can. Over here, the armoured cars were kind of like, they were in that position thinking there maybe be an attack through this gap. That attack's not coming, so they have dashed around out of sight over here, and everyone else has stayed still. So that's it for the Germans. For the Yanks, need some reinforcements and need to think about what they're going to do over here.
Shall I roll this motivation now?
What to do is roll your rebuild. He's within 6 inches of the commander. I don't think he is he?
No, because he's away, he's here. He'll be outside 6, I would have thought of that.
It looks like it, but give it a wee check.
Yeah. I'm not going to be that lucky. No, he's outside 6.
Okay, so you'll need a 4 up to remount first of all. Yep, and then 4 up to stay. No,
nope.
He goes.
He's away.
So he just gets taken off the table because he was unbailed. And then if you want to roll a dice for reserves, see if they come on. And they don't. So
good old Americans.
You're going to have to try and hold ground just now.
Okay, so I'm going to take 3 shots with 50 cal first of all at the guy out in the open.
Now, normally it's 4s, 5 concealment because of the wrecks, but they're also scouts.
So 6s.
6s. Oh,
Nothing.
and then 3 MGs.
3 with the MGs. And nothing.
And then I've scooted down off the hill, but you can still plot a barrage here. You've got line of sight for the company commander.
Yeah.
But because it's on terrain, it's on your skill check 5 plus 1 for terrain. So.
Yeah, 6. So first roll, second roll, and third roll.
Got it. Right, so you'll be hitting me normally on 4s because I am a veteran. 3 range and intense means a 6.
6.
Right, so
you got how many under there? 4.
4, but we'll roll them individually. Right, because it depends. Right, so the first one.
So the first guy, yeah,
6.
Second guy,
2.
Third guy,
2.
and
6.
2
So the ones at the end have been hit. Your anti-tank is 1. So the first guy rolls a 3, so he's at top armour 0, so he's okay. And then the guy at the end rolls a 2, so he just makes it as well, so he's okay. But you're ranged in at that point now, which means that it's difficult for me to hang about there. There's always a chance I'll get clobbered.
Okay, so turn 3, so there was no reserves from the Americans, so I really had to then start with the motivation to get this guy back into his tank, which, as you can see, well, he got back in his tank but then failed his unit last stand, so he's legged it off the table, so that's 1 unit of Sherman's down. The unit of half-tracks took a blitz move to come around to take some shots at the recce team, but because of the trucks in front of me and because of recce and the penalties, failed to do any hits. So then I decided I've still got to try and have a shot at the Marders. As you can see, I've ranged down. I hit the two outside Marders, but he made your saves against those as well, so they've got a charmed life at the moment. So that was what happened across this side of the table. With the infantry, I've taken out my mortar so I can then start looking at doing a bombardment next turn. And then I've got a bucket load of dice shooting you in the middle. 50 cal managed to take out the anti-tank gun in the middle.
Yeah, the most important thing that was there died.
And I said machine gun shots from everything across here, but taking out one stand, and so not a great deal of success there. But hopefully I can start doing some machine guns.
The mortar debust, so next turn it can start.
No, I am waiting to see if these recce come back out and start shooting me. We'll see what happens there.
So German turn 4, didn't get any reserves this turn, which means my last platoon will automatically turn up next turn. The Panzer IV's moved up onto the hill, the Marders moved around the hill outside of the ranged in template, one armoured car moved up, and as far as shooting goes over here, the armoured cars and one Marder managed to kill and bail a half track. There was some direct fire shooting. In fact, I think a Panzer IV killed one of the anti-tank guns, and then this Panzer IV here ranged in did not kill anything. I forgot to reroll hits. Luck I didn't kill anything. It's only
There's one wipeout.
yeah. We have to remember that for next turn. And then over here, these moved up, managed to get one hit. I think it was just a bail on the half tracks, and then no, in fact I got a kill. One of the cannons got a kill. The other one got a bail, and then these fired because they had line of sight through here, and you put it onto the bailed out one and it went, and they destroyed half track. There was two
rifles in it, so they're dead.
Because they got 1 and a 2 for saves.
The bailed have come out.
And they've the one that's run off was double bail. I'm not even sure if that's the right rule, but it's a double bail on an armoured vehicle, so it's got to leave. So we say the guys will come out, they don't go with it, they stick with their platoon. So that's it. So the Americans really need to get some reserves on and clobber some things over this side and try and hold on this side.
See if that works or not.
Right, okay, so 2 dice.
Here we go.
6 and a 5, so here comes the cavalry.
Yeah, here they come. Okay then, so I'm just going to roll some dice now. I've just moved these guys round to try and take some shots at
They've got
the Marders.
a good tactical move of 4 inches.
Tactical, yeah. So I'm going to take 2 shots because they moved, 1 shot each. Nothing.
Yeah, see, they needed
6s, 7s.
5s. You needed 5s there because they're long range veterans.
So not good, but I had to move out and try and take the shot. It's the end of American turn 4, so I managed to get my 2 reserves on. So that was my I brought on my Shermans and my Stuarts. So I brought them across here to try and have a bit of an attack up the side of the table. So concentrate this side of the table first. I decided to move, come out of my half tracks and move the infantry up, ready for this. I'll get them out of line of sight where we are. With the machine gun fire supporting coming in here, and the mortar try to take an assault this unit here. Because I never managed to pin or kill enough bases, I've decided not to get to assault at the moment, but just stand off at the moment, ready to try and get some extra support in. It took me 7 tanks to actually get rid of the 3 recce vehicles in the middle, so that was a bit of a
That's not bad, to be honest. It's still it's not easy to hit at range, especially with stabilisers.
Yeah, the stabilisers are a bit of an issue.
You needed 6s.
So across this, a bit of a stalemate at the moment, but hopefully I can kill enough next time to start moving in for an assault. Brought the 2 guns down, 4-inch movement. I had a shot at the Marders, but failed to hit, so there was a bit of an issue there. So then I had 2 attempts to try and use mortars of various degrees on the open top Marders. So the single guy managed to range in, but because he was firing a single shot, there was no hits. And the guys on the hill failed to range in because of the terrain in the way. I wasn't getting enough dice rolls, so not great. The Americans are really struggling in this game at the moment.
Yeah, they've got pressure on that other objective though, so we'll see what happens next time. So German turn 5, the last of the reserves has arrived. It's Panzer III's with the shot bar 75, they moved on there. That was it for shooting, everything had, oh, movement, sorry, that was it apart from these guys. I've moved 2 anti-tank guns around. I need to get them in a position to shoot through there. Left one out on the flank at the moment, just in case. And also, I'd have to try and go over the wall or around the wall, so I'll just leave it where it is. I didn't fire these guys. There's lots of guys in the open, but it's easy to make a 3-up save, and it's a lot harder to hit guys on 6s than it is to hit on 5, so I just kept going to ground. Let me think now. Murders, Panzer IVs, etc. fired, managed to kill one of those anti-tank guns, but also managed to bail and kill one of the mortar half-tracks, and the Panzer IV ranged in using the company commander. So it's ranged in on there now. Over here, there's a bit of shooting and scooting doing as well. I pushed him back after the fire so they're out of range of him. And then over here, just try to kill that mortar, but he's 3-up save, he can be quite resilient, but Amicaz ain't got much else he can be doing, to be honest. So, to be honest, it looks harem-scarum for the Americans, but they're actually closer to taking an objective than the Germans. So we'll see what they do in the next...
I think this bailed out is key, isn't it? So we'll roll this one, because this is key. He's got to get back in, and then, if he doesn't, there's a motivation check. So let's see if I can get him back in
he's
first
confident.
of all. 1, she doesn't. So this guy's then got to take a test.
2, he doesn't, so he legs it.
That was important, because I was already ranged in on your Marders there, so if I got him back in, I might have done a bit of damage. But
And also the anti-tank gun as well, he's got to make a last stand, but get 2 dice because he's within 6 inches of your company commander.
yeah. Does the bailed out one go leave here as well?
Becomes a wreck.
Comes alright. I'm running out of flame tokens.
And the gun stays.
Okay, so I managed to get my last reserve on, so I brought in my HQ Sherman, but across on this side of the table I had to do a remount for this half track. I failed to remount, but surprisingly has still decided to stay on the table, so staying where he is. I was already ranged in with the mortar, but as you can see failed to do any damage this time round, so leaving a charmed life. Moved 4 inches up with the anti-tank gun. Took shots at the Marders of the game, it failed to hit, so nothing done at this side of the table. Managed to remount the half track here, so he's staying on the table but just stayed where they were. The main focus and thrust of what's going on was moving up this side of the table. So my last reserve came on and moved forward just to give some machine gun fire to the assault I'm planning on putting on through here. I moved my Stuarts around to give machine gun shots, and moved the Shermans around to try and take shots at the Panzers coming my way. So then it was really about maximising shots into that infantry platoon and then trying an assault. So as you can see, there's more dead bases on my side than there is on the German side, but basically everything open fire with machine guns, and never managed to take any casualties out, but managed to force a pin. So because you were pinned, I decided to go for the assault, but the amount of counter fire meant that I was pushed back and then lost a number of stands in the counter assault. Yeah, I had to go for it.
There was 10 out of 11 hits against you.
So the assault really failed there. That could have been the game winner if I managed to get those 5 bases off of that objective. There was enough firepower there that should have done that. But again, like in all versions, dug in infantry, gone to ground, you just can't move them. So we'll see what happens next time.
I think it's a German turn 6, so what happened here was the guys stayed put to get full shots at the Stuarts. These infantry have been moving around to back up the anti-tank guns that have moved up in a position where they can give some cover and fire. Panzer IVs moved up, and these guys pretty much stayed still. I managed to kill that mortar after a ridiculous amount of shots going in against him. This guy here though is living a charmed life. He's making all his saves. That can't be said for the infantry, however. I lifted my gun to ground and I got another couple of the bases. There's 3 bases left in that platoon now because there's him back there. The Stuarts took a hammering off the shot barrels, 75 Panzer IIIs, 2 dead, 2 bailed, and there's a bailed Sherman as well from a long range shot from a Panzer IV. So it's whether or not the Americans, I think if they can get them back in, they can still keep pressure on this objective. So we shall see what happens. Do you want to do your last man standing with things?
Let's do. So see if we can get back in first of all.
Right.
So let's go for getting back in.
Yep.
Yep. And does he stay?
No.
No. So this
So
time
as soon as he
he's
gets back in, he says, right, that's it. It's
away.
to hell out.
This
And
guy's
then
got a last man
this
stand.
heroic guy here, he goes.
At long last.
And then we
Let's
just,
see if we can get this guy built in. Back in again.
right. Yep.
Oh, he's in.
Now,
These are
the
important ones. So this middle guy here.
3, no.
And
A 2,
2,
no.
no.
So they've got to motivate then. And a 2, no.
And the outside.
Yeah, outside
range.
6 inches.
So that's pretty much all over, I think. Because
Oh,
they were-
one thing I forgot to mention, there was a smoke barrage by the Panzer IV, just to give them a bit of time. So we'll see what happens the next turn.
Okay, so the end of American turn 6. So again, started with the motivation rolls in here. So he managed to get back into his half track, but then decided to leg it, and his half track he's away. The single gun, last unit, or last man standing, or unit stand, failed, and so he legged it as well. So then I was all concentrating on what was going on this side of the table. I decided I've got to go for the assault and push everything up as best as I can. So moved the tanks, the Shermans up, ready to assault. I'd lost my 2 remaining Stuarts anyway, so it was just real up to the Shermans to try and assault, with as much machine gun fire coming in from the half tracks, the commander, the units that were left, and then going on for the assault. So I managed to actually not kill any bases with the machine guns. It was the assault that actually done it. So I managed to.
Well, you didn't kill anything in the assault either.
Didn't kill anything in the assault, but then you rolled to motivate to counter attack and decided to leg it when you see 3 tanks
Basically,
on top of you.
what happened there was, you came in, you missed everything, but in the new rules you've always got to motivate to counter attack regardless if you're hit or not. And because he had 1 infantry base within 4 inches of the objective at the start of his turn, and because I failed even with the company commander to stay in the fight, I had to pull back, and he's able to consolidate with those tanks and push me even further back, which means I end the turn with no bases within 4 inches, and you started your turn as the attacker in the assault within 4 inches of the objective, so that's a victory. It's not like the old rules where I could then start moving other things up and then try and drip feed infantry into the objective or blast everything that's on the objective in the next turn. You can actually just like take control and win the game, which is an improvement, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it is
from
better.
before.
It is better, even though I'm saying it as a winner, I think it's a better rule.
So that's a win for the Americans, believe it or not, guys. I think, at the end of the day, it's always the game's always about objectives, and my guys were always kind of strung out there. And I could have just charged my tanks up. It wouldn't have made any difference, to be honest. The only way I could have held on to the objective was to play defensively for the entire game, and there's not much point in doing that. I had to try and kill things. If I'd have passed, I had 2 chances to make a 4-up roll, and if I'd have passed it, I would potentially still be in the game. But once your opponent gets up and in your face on an objective, you've got to kill them. Otherwise, you're just one motivation test away from losing the game. And it's always fair, because the last game we had against me and Brian he rolled a 1 for his save on his Persian, and then rolled a 3 for his remount, and then a 3 for his reroll on the remount, so it swings and roundabouts. But there you go, guys. The Americans took a bit of a pasting, but there's enough of them to push the Germans off the objective.
Yeah, definitely. I think the sheer size of the Armoured Rifle Company, the amount of bases you've got in that against most other mid-war units is something quite astounding. What have I learned? More smoke markers required if you're Americans, or certainly me anyway.
Well, I think, to be honest, like for artillery, a 5-up skill is pretty terrible.
Yeah, I think they come into this war really are sort of green and really don't know what they're doing. But somehow managed to pull that one out of and a win. But it was good. I think in this game it was good that the Shermans were actually able to stand off and fight against your Panzers.
Yeah.
Normally Shermans would get wiped out in late war.
This is mid-war. This is why the Americans went into Normandy thinking that they had a good tank.
Yeah, because they thought from this that they could stand up to things. So the Shermans provided well. Stabilisers on the Stuarts is a bit of a nightmare. Stabilisers full stop's a nightmare, but an enjoyable game. I think it was really quite good. But Marders, what a nightmare.
I know, but you get them a wee bit of luck against them and you'll clobber them. The front armour ones, not much use at all. But there you go, that's our first version, proper version 4 game. As it goes to show you guys, like I said before, it's always come down to objectives. I was never in a position to take that objective over there when over in the houses when I think of it. I should have tried to get the one in the middle. You know, try and just push and sort of support this one and then push against that one and so on. But it's a tricky game. This you have to go on the offensive, or no one's going to win. And Brian went on the offensive. It didn't work for his infantry, but it worked for his tanks. So get up in the enemy's face, plant yourself down in front of his objective, and things can start to happen.
Yeah.
So there you go, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and we'll see if we can get some more version 4. It's probably going to be Americans against Yanks for a wee bit, but we'll hopefully get some British finished and ready to use over the next few weeks.